Please. When it was your turn, I said no, please.
No, when it was my turn, he came.
No, please.
Well, we should not allow him to misinform the public.
No, please. Let him make his point.
They were paid money for no job done.
No, please.
The letter exists.
Okay. So you are quoting.
I'm quoting
cogently from them.
Letter. I'm quoting
public document.
All right. So, mami will be akwaba and from Remega TV and platform we so. Inti baby abe fabiano. SML Strategic Mobilization Limited Scandal and a year any GRA boss that is the Ghana Revenue Authority. Now some way and a movement for change na ankana yo mudi na from United Party Plus pampa bako any Dr. Zaato Asia. In fact, this is the second time this week and I say a couple of weeks in TV3 ayeshi what you say on Dr. Zaato aklashi yamen kwanke ye any bomfe and domfe yes domfe di no jumpo ni domfe di ni ebi but we dey omo active very swift inti omo entimi and go to that level na ebeko ekwakuti ni na sa corruption hunsensem OSP investigation the charges are odiabo kin ofori ata se ombra na omi ne ho na obusuya yinti se ni biyekoba yebeto so ediamo hanom mesia na bo na authentic platform negative yakopon kan na onshira papa se tibia ohwe ye news.
Speak on subject matter of graft, corruption, and then efforts to be able to clamp down on the act of the vice in itself, who seem to have a certain perception about the role being played by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, whether he's cajoling or not. But he says that he's just doing right by Ghanaians and then also the mandate he has by the office. What do you make of the charges now preferred?
Roland, good morning to my colleagues in the studio and of course our cherished viewers out there, as well as your production team. Like you clearly indicated, I think yesterday I decided to raise a concern about the conduct of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and these concerns are not personal in nature. And there's the need for us to situate the discussions in that context. I think that it has to do with the office itself as Office of Special Prosecutor. But you see, in relation to the SML matter, I think that this is not the first time we are discussing this issue around this table. Indeed, thanks to the good works of the likes of Manasseh Azuri-Awuni and some journalists from the Fourth Estate, they first brought the matter to light under the presidency of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. So it added to the litany of corruption cases under the erstwhile administration. So by 2024, I think that Ghanaians were fed up, and they knew that there was the need for us to have some measure of accountability when it comes to many of these infractions or alleged infractions as far as conduct in public offices are concerned. Roland, even before that, as a republic, we raise concerns about the nature we deal with corruption in this country. And that predates Nana Addo's presidency, and even President Mills, and of course, President Kufuor as well. So there's that general consensus, at least in principle, that there's the need for us to find an acceptable way of ensuring political accountability in this country. I want to believe that that was what led to the discussions as to whether indeed the Attorney General's office is actually truly independent or not. Many campaign promises were made at the back of that eventually led to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the NPP proposing the establishment of the Office of Special Prosecutor. And the cardinal arguments they canvassed to support that initiative was the issue of independence of the office. That is far from political interference or whatsoever. And I remember vividly that many of us raised a concern that the issue with this country is not about lack of institutions to deal with political corruption or corruption in public offices, but more to do with commitment on the part of all of us, especially those who are entrusted with the responsibility to lead. We argued then that the fact that you are going to create a special prosecutor will not make him immune to such political interferences, simply because you are saying so in an act of parliament. And there was the need for us to rather retool and reposition the Attorney General to be able to effectively deal with many of these cases of corruption. In any case, it was at the back of those concerns that we even set up the institutions like IOCO and BNI.
FIC.
And Financial Intelligence Commission and the like, Center, right? So, as to whether or not, indeed, we needed an office of special prosecutor, was something many of us thought that it was needless. It was coming to add to the public sector inertia that we've been dealing with as a country. But albeit, we are here today. After more than 5 years of its establishment, have we gotten to a stage where we need to take stock and actually ask ourselves the most difficult questions as to whether indeed that office was truly relevant? And there's the need for us to continue to fund that office in the name of the taxpayer. We should not run away from that discussion. And Roland, from where I sit, I still maintain that what we have done with the creation of that office is simply to obstruct the quest for accountability rather than bolster it.
Oh, really?
Clearly.
How do you come to those conclusions, Hamza Soyin?
Not long ago, we had consent by the minister responsible for Justice and Attorney General, his deputy, the Honorable Dr. Justice Sai, about even a request, a simple request to the Office of Special Prosecutor for him to hand over a docket in this same matter to the AG to be able to action.
Oh, but the OSP replied swiftly.
Yes, swiftly. He told the whole nation that they needed time.
Sure.
To give and that they were working on the docket. When at the same time, even prior to that, many were advocating that indeed it was even possible for us to bring charges against Ken Ofori-Atta in absentia. He did not budge. Only for the Deputy Attorney General to make it public that, look, we've been chasing him for the docket for some time now. He's not responded. Today, suddenly, after the assurances that a docket will go, he has gone to file charges in absentia. So what happens to that docket? Is it an open admission that he has lost interest in getting Ken Ofori-Atta extradited to Ghana?
Oh, even by these counts that is
absolutely,
preferable.
because we need to know. His first line of action was to get him in. And when the fire came, he indicated to all of us that, look, he's working on the docket and that the docket will be given to the AG's department. What has happened? Do we need to know? Sense of accountability. And Roland, the question again we should ask is whether indeed the issue of perceived political interference has been dealt with the creation of that office. And if it has not been dealt with the creation of that office, then we need to face the hard truth as a country and begin to apply brakes and roll back that initiative. Because one, we are talking about non-interference from the political class. Remember, when Martin Amidu resigned, somewhere in November 2020, I remember clearly that it was in the heat of the campaigns. I was somewhere around the former Minister of Finance's constituency, Dr. Amin Adam Anta, when the
That's
issue,
Karaga.
yes, around Karaga, yeah, brilliant, Karaga constituency, when the issue of his resignation came to us. And Roland, he said one thing, and I think that there is a need for us to go back to it. The bedrock of the formation of the office had to do with non-interference. In his epistle, he indicated that the presidency had attempted to influence when he called him and demanded that he should accept a response from the Attorney General.
Hamza, what's your point?
From the Minister of Finance.
What's your point?
I'm simply telling you that the whole issue of political independence, what's the name? Non-interference, when it comes to the fight against corruption, that formed the basis for the establishment of that office, was in itself downplayed by the very president who instituted same and argued same. Because Nana Addo was the first president to interfere. So that tells you that the issue of interference goes beyond the basis that eventually led to the formation of that office. And we need to get to the roots of many of these concerns, not through the establishment of different institutions. It has to do with political ethics, responsibility, and accountability on the part of the fourth estate, especially the media. It is not through the creation of such bodies. Because whichever way you look at it, politicians will always be politicians. They will attempt to interfere.
Really?
Absolutely. It doesn't happen only in Ghana.
So politicians now are interfering?
I'm telling you that politicians in the past interfered.
In the present?
Absolutely not. There's no evidence when it comes to the work of the Office of the Special Prosecutor that politicians are interfering, Roland.
I see.
And that is the reason why I am having this discussion, because if care is not taken, Ghanaians will begin. Ghanaians will begin to question even the relevance of the many existing institutions, not just the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And the burden is on this new administration, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, because the issue has never been the absence or otherwise of corruption, because Ghanaians are convinced that politicians engage in corruption. And we have the institutions to fight corruption. The issue has to do with trust. Whether indeed, Roland, I beg you, give me like 2-3 minutes, I'll learn.
I'm waiting for you.
Whether indeed we have what it takes to deal with the issue decisively. But I do not have any measure of confidence in the Office of the Special Prosecutor to be able to do that. What I see is that the Office of the Special Prosecutor, unfortunately, has become obstructive, even in government's quest for political accountability, as far as the last regime is concerned. He may not be doing so deliberately, but it tells you that there's a certain degree of conflict that clearly, if care is not taken, will distance this government from many of the accountability issues that we raised, and the Ghanaian people demand accountability of us. Because with what he's doing with the SML matter, I have read the charges, Roland, 78 charges, and the timing of the release of the charges. This was after his...
You mean counts?
Yes, sorry, counts,
78
counts. Correction. Yes, 78 counts. That has been released. And I've read it, and I was wondering, where is this coming from? 78.
He's doing his work. Because, for example, you go on Facebook, you go and write, the OSP has designed an elaborate plan to free Ken and Co. We must stop him before he becomes a liability. Then you even add an exclamation, yo.
Look at
how do you mean by that? Hamza Suhaili.
And I'll explain. I will respond to that. Look at how he started. In the morning, yesterday, the news broke that he had sent an invitation to the likes of Martin Pebo, Senior Martin Pebo, and TV3 to appear before him because of allegations made on this platform. And they were not just mere allegations, because Senior Martin Pebo indicated that he was going to petition for his removal. He decided to arrogate some sense of power to himself, to attempt to investigate the very allegations and the open declaration by Senior Martin Pebo that he was going to
you cannot make those conclusions.
Petition. No, I can't, because it is backed by facts. That was what happened, Roland. Now, when the backlash wasn't favorable, in less than 4 or 5 hours, he decided to deflect attention with an announcement of these counts. That's one. And this is not the first time he has done that. Again, remember in his engagement with his issues with the deputy AG, when the nation started having discussions about the relevance of that particular office and his conduct, in a matter of a day or two, he proceeded to release this same SML report, indicting many other people, attempting to deflect attention on the part of his office as far as the demands of accountability.
So do you think that was what he was doing?
I think so. I think the gentleman is simply engaged in politics and taking this nation for
So these are serious comments you're making.
These are serious comments because issues of corruption must be serious on the mind of any Ghanaian. And I think that the time has come for us to confront the politics of that institution. It was created as a political response and to score some political points. under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. So I am not surprised that even those who head that institution have themselves assumed that political posture. And there's the need for us to say it as it is, Roland. We cannot continue on this tangent, because what is happening is that if this gentleman goes and is not successful with the SML matter, it ties the hands of the Attorney General's office to deal with the same matter. So the question we should be asking is that what is the extent of collaboration between him and that of the AG's office? Because in any case, even his act, the establishing act, still makes him amenable to Article 88(4) of the 1992 Constitution, which says that some measure of authority when it comes to prosecutions must emanate from the office of the Attorney General. So these are critical questions we should ask. Is establishment, can we boast of something substantial in terms of successes that has emanated from that office, Roland?
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Right.
And so we must be bold enough to have these discussions and situate it in a way that puts responsibility squarely on that office, so that Ghanaians will know that this office has suddenly become obstructive, not just to them, but even to this government's agenda to ensure accountability as far as the officers are concerned.
Dr. Zaato, what do you make of all this? I mean, you think they are spurious comments? For example, office established OSP, and it looks like the way the actions and then the cases have been dealt with, not even, a prosecution or a judgment, so to speak, achieved so far. And then also that interface and the comments that are coming from an outstanding member of the NDC, whose party is in government, so to speak, like Sohiyeni, making these comments, puts the institution in itself into some level of a cagey situation?
Thank you very much. Good morning again. I want to start by reaching out to my friend who is not here today, Mr. Solomon Owusu. Over the weekend, he had the 1 week anniversary for the passing of his late sister. I couldn't go because I was here, and I wish them my deepest condolences, and I hope that God Almighty will comfort them during these difficult times and make sure that may the soul of our dear sister continue to rest in perfect peace.
Our condolences to you, Solomon Owusu.
In Tumu and in my community, we have a popular saying that sometimes if you want to participate, when you see people eating dog meat and you want to participate, but because of various reasons, religious or otherwise, you are not supposed to take dog meat, you say that it is the meat of a red goat. Because the moment you say it's red goat, then you are denying it of the fact that it is what? Dog meat, then you participate.
So who is insinuating red goat meat?
When you sit down and then you look at this whole OSP caboodle, and you begin to see interest at play. You begin to see what is called rational self-interest at play. And everybody is playing to secure and save their rational self-interest. First, I will start with the office of the OSP himself, that office itself. I personally think that bringing these charges now is an attempt by the OSP to save his ass. To save his job, to save his behind. It's not about finding people guilty.
Save what?
It is an attempt by that office to save their jobs. It has absolutely nothing to do with the prosecution of corruption. It has absolutely nothing to do with looking for justice. It is an exercise in self-preservation.
The OSP
is doing this in an attempt at self-preservation, not for justice and not to fight for corruption.
Kisia Jabin, he's saving himself?
There's one thing that I looked at. I sat here, and I sat there, and I sat there on programs, and we said these things. In this world that we are in, especially after COVID, the whole world has gone digital. We have seen multi-billion-dollar deals and contracts signed. We've seen the UN hold global changing events online. We've seen the President of the United States even sign important documents online. We've seen these things happen. And we raise these questions. Why are you insisting that Ken Ofori-Atta should be here? Why?
I don't understand. Are you saying that the office of the special prosecutor...
Can't you charge Ken Ofori-Atta in absentia? Can't you conference him? His lawyer said, can't you conference Ken Ofori-Atta and talk to him? Can't you charge him when he's not here? Can't you send, even if it means physical, can't you send some of your investigators to Washington, D.C. to sit down with this guy and talk to him? All this, no. The OSP went ahead and issued what is called a red notice alert. Ken must come here. Ken must come home.
We should do online.
All these efforts at trying to get Ken home and has been drummed home was because it was trying to extract as much political capital from the Ken issue than to try to come at justice. It was a deliberate attempt, and I believe that there were other forces, political forces, at play, insisting that or wanted to see Ken brought in and disgraced. And that disgrace then become a disgrace for Ken and his political party. I think that was it because
Dr. Zaato, who do you think, and are you insinuating, are forcing or at the background trying to make sure that Ken Ofori-Atta is brought into the jurisdiction by Kwesi Agyapong, the special prosecutor?
Something happened. Ken, and a red alert was issued for Ken. Despite the advices of everybody that in this day and age, you can do this same thing, that they said no. So the question I then ask is, why now? Every rational Ghanaian asking this question, why charge the guy now? From January up to today, you told us until the guy is physically here. No, from January up to now, you were talking about habeas corpus, right? There's something called yes. All of a sudden, what happened to habeas corpus? Oh, I hope I'm not pronouncing right now. You have successfully done this guy. This guy says, I'm sick. You said, I don't give a damn if you are sick. The guy says, I have to do surgery. You say, I don't give a damn if you are surgeon. The guy says, I'm not strong enough to come. You say, you don't give a damn. The wife gave an interview, told you the complications on medical. You said, I don't give a damn. About 2 months ago, a picture of him was shown and just to say, oh, he's chilling, he's not coming. All this was, but you knew deep down, you could still seek justice without his presence. You knew deep down you could charge the guy without his presence. You need deep. So why the shenanigans? Why the shenanigans? Why were you doing this? It is what then leads me to try to understand something. I don't believe in conspiracy theories, but I now come to try to understand what. That's what I'm saying. Understand.
You don't believe in conspiracy theories,
yes. But
the nexus you're drawing now are conspiracy theories.
Because I heard my brother. I saw where my brother landed.
You're making claims that individuals behind, whether they are in the jurisdiction or not, are putting pressure or conspiring with the special prosecutor Kwesi Agyapong to prefer these charges or these counts on Ken Ofori-Atta. On one hand, also you say that we should do online Zoom or stream it, the interactions, so to speak, so that then you continue with the prosecutions. That's what all these are, conspiracy or nexus you're drawing together. Conspiracy.
I made a point that the red alert issued was not necessary. It was completely irrelevant and necessary.
Are you a special prosecutor?
He just confirmed it. The special prosecutor himself has just confirmed it. The same office that said that until the man is here, he's not going to do something, is the same office that has now charged him online. So what does that mean? If you could charge the man online in absentia, if you could go to court without the man being here physically, why would you issue the red alert for him? That's common sense. It's not a conspiracy. You said he had to be here. Okay, the guy is not here. You've charged him. That means that all this fight, 8 months of fighting, of publicity about the man being here, was not worth it. That's the point I'm making. 2, I now begin to understand something. That's why I'm now saying, I said, look, this SML case did not start today. 1, there was an audit into the management of SMS by KPMG. KPMG came up with some referrals, suggesting that there was nothing criminal from KPMG. Was an SML wrote a letter to the GRA themselves, and they asked GRA some very simple, basic questions. Did they have a contract? Did they do their work? Was the payment justified? In all these questions, GRA responded positive. Yes, 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 yes. They had a contract, they did the work, payment was justified. This is not, because this is the lawyer of GRA themselves writing to the lawyers of SML saying that they had done the work and have been paid. So now we now have 2 institutions. We have an external audit into this that said that yes, it has been done. We have GRA internal also saying that the work has been done. Now the question I ask myself is, and this way lawyers are, you now go and charge them for not doing this. Imagine their lawyers submit these 2 exhibits. From where I sit, these 2 exhibits in and of themselves may constitute probably possible deniability. And it may lead to what? The fact that you have not proved your case beyond reasonable doubt. Because if I have a document from GRL themselves saying that I've done the work and my payment is justified, and I have another audit report from an external agency also saying that you had a legal contract that was justified. So two external reputable organizations, in fact, one being the organizations themselves. If TV3 employs me to do a job, and then later TV3 writes to say that yes, I did the job and I was paid rightly, and now you go to court. This is, I believe that it is creating the ground for them, and from what I've seen, it's still like, look, yes. So for me, it is when you now see that you begin to understand where my brother landed, that they believe that it's a conspiracy to free Ken. That's why I not believe that. That is why I believe. That's what I said. If you look at the chain of events.
So what do you believe? He believes that it's a conspiracy, just merry-go-round. I mean, literally. What do you believe?
What I believe is that the OSP is doing this to save his job. I'm come back to where I started.
He's saving his
job.
Okay.
I have seen very powerful people threaten to petition for his removal. One of them is Hamza Sohoyene, is a lawyer and a very powerful member of the NDC. No, I'm not saying you've petitioned. Threaten. Threaten. Or say that is not it. One of them.
Threatened. I have not done any of those.
Advocated.
No, I've just said
the others.
That's why I said it was not personal.
The others, I will not mention it because they are not here. Powerful people that we know that have voices that the government will hear listen to have said they will petition and they will get him removed. And I think that this 360 turnaround is an attempt to say that, okay, I'm doing what you want, do it. And that is now where I now believe that the forces, and that's when I land with the forces, the political forces. You saw a clash between OSP and the Attorney General. Forces, political forces. One of them is from the Attorney General's office and the OSP. We saw the clash between them. One said that I asked these documents, you didn't give me. The other one said that I gave you the document, I didn't give you. The other one said you requested, I didn't request. My question is that, or my theory, or my hypothesis is that the Attorney General won that fight. And because he won that fight, because the Attorney General won that fight, and because the Attorney General, as you were saying, that maybe has a supervisory or certain supervisory role over the OSP, you cannot come out and publicly shame or publicly call out your boss that he hasn't done something, only for your boss to say this is. Then I put all this together and I come to the conclusion that probably the days of the OSP are numbered. These last-minute charges will not save the OSP. They won't save him. What will happen is that the people who have threatened to petition having removed will use this as a basis, will see this and do it. So that's, I learned where I started. You wanted to remove the OSP, you've now have excuse to do that. You wanted to eat the meat of the dog, but now you have excuses to call it red goat. Thank you.
You think that's all this is about? Dr. Inusa, it's an effective OSP, an effective SP in itself, Kisia Japing, and all this merry-go-round with the Ken Oferiatta. He believes that, well, it's just one of those things. He thinks that as well, it's just one of the routes to make sure that I've gone through the process as the office of the special prosecutor, the special prosecutor himself just going through this, and ultimately Ken could be free. That's his conspiracy theory as well. How do you connect?
Well, Roland, let me say a very good morning to your good self and to my colleagues in the studio. Let me take this opportunity to also commend the good works of certain police officers that ought to be acknowledged this very morning. One is COP Idi Sedu, who is the director for welfare of the Ghana Police Service. And then the other is DSP Georgina Alhassan Sabi, who is the Kotobabi divisional commander, who are doing a yeoman's job to ensure peace and security in our country. And we need to commend them this morning. Roland, hearing the statements from Dr. Zaato this morning really gives me a feeling of melancholy, because if he understands what really went on in the SML deal, I'm not sure he would say that the KPMG report and the other audit report from the GRA exonerated Ken Oferiatta.
Why not? Those are public documents.
All wrongdoings. He should prove to us, because if you look at the audit report, right, it stated clearly breaches of our procurement laws, right? And also, if you look at the investigation done by Imani, led by Brad Simmons, it goes to tell you that SML's inclusion in that deal did not really bring any value for money. And so for Dr. Zaato this morning to sit down here and defend such a scandalous scam on the people of Ghana, that over 1 billion cedis were paid to individuals for no work done. Indeed, Roland, today I know that in Ghana, if you're a timber merchant, I'm sure tomorrow you can be given contracts from national NCA or the Ministry of Communication to undertake certain massive projects. It is only in Ghana. If you look at the object of SML and even who created SML in the first place, the person has no relevant IT experience. The company SML was created to do timber business. If you look at the object of the company.
The initial object.
Initial object.
But according to the Companies Act, you can always alter.
Fair enough.
The object of the company.
But I'm saying that at the time and manner in which the contract was given to them, SML was a timber merchant. That is not disputed, right? They did not go through the right procurement processes, right? This contract was given through sole sourcing. As if it was not enough, when they got our downstream petroleum sector, they included Ghana's cash cow, which is our exports of oil and then minerals.
For revenue assurance.
Yes, 70%. 70% of Ghana's export revenue comes from oil and gold. And they gave them that chunk of it, and they were paying SML 0.75% commission to that. If you look at the data of SML today, Roland, and I have been in the IT space for a while. If you care to know, without the risk of sounding boastful, Roland, I was the first techpreneur in the Silicon Valley of China called John Guantun. Yes.
John Guantun.
John Guantun. I was the first African techpreneur in the history of the Silicon Valley of China.
What has that got to do with the SML subject?
The SML subject, if you look at the cost of their software, if I add all together, they said that a cost of, let's say, about $70 million. Roland, the software that they are using, it's like Netflix, subscribing for Netflix, and then coming to tell you that I have built Netflix.
No, you can. Have you been to the
Roland? I am telling you,
where they have their equipment.
Roland, I am telling you that the software, as it says here, okay, $25.35 million is so much for a software to monitor the whole.
By inference, you're saying it's overvalued.
It's overvalued. It's overvalued. I'm not sure SML in itself would even have the initial, capital of about $70 million to even start up this project. So they should save us that. We are talking about now monies of over 1 billion cedis. Today, in my village in Wale, we have a lot of schools under trees. In Dr. Zaato's hometown, I'm sure he's from Zebila or Tumu. He knows very well that his people are suffering. Yes, he will come and sit down here this morning to defend such criminals.
Oh, you can make this.
No, please
don't take a dig at him.
Please,
relax. No, it's not relaxed.
Please,
it's not relaxed. It's not relaxed.
No, please.
He's not defending them.
No,
he's only making.
I am saying that you cannot come and tell me that the audit report exonerates Oforiatta from any wrongdoing. That there was nothing wrong, there was nothing shady, and there was no illegality in there. That is absolutely false. And it's an unpatriotic comment by Dr. Zaato this morning. Listen, no, Roland, we are serious about the fight against corruption. We are serious about the fight against corruption. Corruption has deprived a lot of young kids infrastructure for education. Corruption has deprived a lot of young people of their future.
Just hold on. Your comments have elicited responses from the Office of the Special Prosecutor. We have Director in charge of Strategy who is joining us, Lawyer Samidako. Good morning to you, Lawyer Samidako.
Roland, good morning. How are you and your viewers and listeners?
My good friend, I'm well.
The reason why we call into this program is that, the OSP is a transparent organization. That's how the lawmaker made it. And we also think that we are fighting for the good people of Ghana. not the powerful. And so if you get the powerful trying to say misinform the public or they say things that are not accurate, then the people you are fighting for tend to turn against you because you've been misinformed, not that they know the truth. So I called in quickly to correct something. It's about trial in absentia and why have we charged Mr. Foriata now and all the conspiracy that have been said. I think that we have said before, and if you indulge me a little, from the outset, we maintain that trial in absentia in Ghana is permissible only when a suspect or an accused person has been formally charged, duly notified, and subsequently refuses to appear before the court, or absconds while standing trial. And then we have also consistently explained that there are only two lawful mechanisms under Ghanaian law for securing the attendance of a suspect or an accused person who evades a law enforcement agency or the court. First, an investigative body such as the OSP may arrest the individual with or without a warrant, process them through the arrest, caution, and then charge procedures, and then present them before the court. The second option, the investigative body may apply to the court for a summons, which must then be served on the suspect or the accused person wherever they may be, compelling the appearance. Where the individual still refuses to return, the court may commit him or her to prison in absentia and issue a warrant for arrest. This in turn triggers the need for extradition to possibly return that person to Ghana. And if you go under a Criminal Procedure Act, Act 30, the only instance in which a person's attendance may be dispensed with is where the case is a misdemeanor. That means the punishment for it is below 2 years. That's the only time a court may dispense with the attendance of a person. So we have explained this, that at the time when some people were saying that we should go with a summons, investigation was in progress. And that is why we needed the attendance of the person. But now investigations are done and we have filed charges. So it means we are going the route of summons where the court will now issue a warrant for the person's arrest. So in all the processes, you will still need the personal attendance of the person. But in this instance, the person will have to contend with the court and not the law enforcement agency. So that's the difference. And in all the cases, you need extradition. That is why extradition is still active and alive.
I see. So
that is one of the things I wanted to clarify. And then the second one I wanted to clarify was this thing about GRA had written to SML lawyers and said they had done
Certainly.
something. It's the reason why we had to arrest the acting head of legal, and we had to also invite the Commissioner General of GRA. And I will tell you that they have admitted to a lot of things. And in the coming days, whatever that they have been instructed to go and undo, you will see them do it. So it is not true. And I think that we should allow the court to determine whether, we should allow the court or the trial facts to determine whether the evidence that we were adduced in court are sufficient or not. But in the time being, we have done a very extensive investigation. We told Ghanaians that it was going to take a while. And now that we have even charged people with about 78 counts, people are saying that it's a lot of counts and that it's an opportunity for people to escape or blah, blah. I don't even understand. So you are trying to say that if we have found evidence of a count, we should just let it go and go with about, say, 10 charges. No. We will go with all the charges that we have sufficient evidence for.
Okay. Samida, thank you very much for your intervention in the first place. But there was a substantive issue about whether you couldn't have taken this before now, maybe using the latest technology, doing it in real time, streaming, having an interaction with him in that jurisdiction whilst you're here. And then a question I wanted to ask about whether you're just using this route, ultimately coming to a conclusion, then it makes the AG ineffective to be then making a progression on this substantive issue. And you were saying something. You wanted to make an attempt. We just wait.
Yes, Roland, back to my submission. Zaato here says that there was nothing wrong with the contract. The KPMG report saw a lot of the discrepancies with the procurement processes.
I hope that when he finishes, you will let me answer that. Because
procurement
people have mentioned my name when I was presenting. I didn't mention anybody's name.
You said the audit report didn't see any illegality.
So after
and I'm saying that
you, then you have your time.
No. He made a lesson against him.
Relax.
No. You see, when you say relax like this, you're not being fair to me. When I came into this guy came here with one objective.
Oh, Dr. Inusa. He's not a guy. It's Dr. Inusa.
Trend using you. Why would I trend using you?
That is why
I have got my own credibility. I don't need you to trend.
Okay.
I am so.
Put their mics off.
Why would you put my mic on when you've called me?
Put their mics off for me.
What happens when I want to talk back? Put their mics off. When people are calling my name, when you're talking, I kept quiet.
It's not true. It's not true. Again, let me establish the rules. No, let me re-establish.
Made allegations against me. You didn't interrupt.
Let me re-establish the rules, please.
No, that is how it is here. I'm telling you the honest.
Dr. Zaato.
You were here. You saw it. Yes.
Dr. Zaato. Again.
One Zaato. What two Zaato? Two Zaato. Three Zaato.
No,
but you never made me to respond to the things he said.
No.
When I was talking, I didn't mention.
No, Dr. Zaato. No.
You have to give me that.
Dr. Zaato. Again, let me establish. You all know that we go in turns, and then you have your time.
So if I didn't agree with the things you said.
Just like any form of public debate, if you have any point to rebut, you note those points down, and then when your time comes, you respond to them. All right, please. He said you should stop mentioning his name.
Well, then he should stop defending people that have done wrong. He should stop misinforming the public.
You have 2 minutes. Please inform me.
Roland,
Dr. Inusa, yes, sir.
For you to sit down here and tell me that the KPMG report didn't cite any irregularity in the contract, it's false. They cited that GRA engaged SML without proper approvals from the PPA. Was that a fact or that's not a fact?
In the report, yes.
It's there.
What's your point with that?
My point is that the SML deal did not give us value for money. Indeed, the issues of revenue increase is as a result of Unipass in collaboration with Ghana Link, which formed ICOMS. ICOMS was introduced by Alan Tramati. If he doesn't know, I have to tell him this morning. That contributed a chunk of the revenue from our ports, and that saw a hike in the revenues. Now, when you talk about even SML in the first place, ICOMS has a similar system as what SML has introduced. It is criminal to try and bring a similar system that already exists. There were other companies that were dealing with the NPA, that were manning the, the BDCs, the metering system for the BDCs, and even the OMCs, right, for revenue assurance. NPA had engaged a lot of companies in that regard. Yet still, Oferiatta did not see the need, right, to try and get the data from NPA and collaborate with GRA for revenue assurance, but to introduce SML and to give them our monies free of charge. And you sit down here, you don't see anything wrong about it. I beg.
He's only sharing his opinion.
And let me tell you something.
He's entitled to his opinion, Doctor.
But that's what I'm saying. That's right. Opinions, everybody's entitled to it. But whether indeed it is legitimate, the viewers are watching. Everybody is watching.
And for the public good.
Of course.
Okay.
We are here to fight for Ghana. Roland, corruption is eroding every gain that we make in this country. It is not for nothing that I sit down this morning with a feeling of melancholy, talking about the SML deal. And for me to hear Dr. Zaato say that I want to use him to trend, Dr. Zaato, I have made my name overseas.
Please.
Let's not get personal. I do not need Dr. Zaato to trend.
It's okay.
He should understand it.
He says that don't mention
I do not need him to trend.
Please, Dr. Inusa.
Roland,
let's get this.
Yes.
I shouldn't mention his name.
Yes.
So what should I call him?
In rebutting his point, please
what should I call him? Pharaoh?
Roland.
I should call him Pharaoh.
Please. Let's bring the temperature. Look, you heard the intervention made by Sami Darko.
Yes, but even before I respond to his intervention.
Let's do that in 4 minutes.
Yes, okay. Even before I respond to his intervention, it is important for me to bring some clarity to the factual situation surrounding the SML deal. I can understand the caveat Dr. Zaato gave, that he's not a lawyer, and so for that matter, he would not be in a position to hazard a guess informed by law, especially when it comes to the evidential value of the letters that he claims have been written by Ghana Revenue Authority and the likes. Mind you, the investigation was not centered on the likes of Ken Ofori-Atta alone. Because from day one, the National Democratic Congress, even in opposition, and the journalists who conducted the investigations indicated that many of our state institutions were complicit in that particular scandal. So it went beyond just the business owners of SML and the role of the minister responsible for finance. We accepted that many of our institutions were used as conduits.
That's right.
To champion that filthy, unacceptable, corrupt transaction. So that is not in doubt. Again, even when Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo directed KPMG to do their own audit of it, they indicated in the number of times that PPA had to say no to the proposals that were submitted to them, and how eventually led to a change of name in company. In any case, nobody needs an angel to descend from the high heavens to tell you that this SML deal was cooked to line the buckets of the likes of Ken Ofori-Atta and some known NPP people within that particular setup. And so it's not hidden. And so, Doc, let me also remind you.
He said don't mention his name.
No.
So what should we call him?
Please,
no, please, it's okay.
He knows he would have his right. This is, and let me also remind Doc that
you should maybe give us a name
even when the investigations were conducted, information has come to light that there were certain known officials of the Ghana Revenue Authority who, after spearheading the processes of GRA signing that contract, decided to resign afterwards to join SML.
That's right.
So all these issues are issues we need to be concerned about if indeed we are genuinely interested in the fight against corruption.
That's right.
Now, I can understand the frustrations of my brother.
He said don't mention his name.
I'm not mentioning his name. That's why.
But Roland, what he was named by his parents. He has a name.
It's some characteristics of Dr. Zaato to be angry. That's why I was telling him that I should calm down. Just 2 days ago, everybody was praising you. People were full of praises when it comes, especially when it comes to your conduct on TV. So that's why
you said 2 days ago.
I didn't want you to muddy the waters. But you see, I can understand his frustration. You see, my brother is resisting the temptation to come across as somebody who is speaking against the principled position of the New Patriotic Party. But at the same time, he wants to demonstrate his fidelity to the corruption fight. And that's why that conflict is there. Because on one hand, he wants to be seen as a champion of anti-corruption related matters.
SP?
But in reality, he also knows that taking that position today will not inure to the benefit of his political party, the New Patriotic Party. And so that's why he's treading cautiously. If the tables were turned, and this had to do with an NDC issue, be rest assured that Dr. Zaato's response would have been different. And now on the issue of the OSP, you see, Roland, I can understand Sami Dako's fixation in attempting to more or less bring clarity in his words to the matters discussed this morning. So by that interview, has he admitted that the initial letter written to the chief of staff demanding extradition of Ken Ofori-Atta was misplaced? He has given us the processes that the OSP needs to go through, including a subsequent, an eventual court order, based on which an extradition request could be made. So at the time they wrote to the chief of staff, demanding the intervention of the government to get Ken Ofori-Atta extradited to Ghana, were these processes followed? What informed that decision? Did they realize after that engagement, after the referral of chief of staff of the letter to the Attorney General's office, and maybe subsequent informal engagements with the Attorney General, they then realized that so much work still needed to be done in that regard? These are questions we need to find answers to. And that is why many of us are beginning to become a little bit apprehensive when it comes to the operations of the OSP. And these are legitimate concerns. I'm a member of the National Democratic Congress.
Despite the
and I'm a
responses
member
from
of the
Sami
government.
Darko.
Please, I'm a member of the NDC and I'm a member of the government. I should be overly excited that this OSP is going after the likes of Ken Ofori-Atta. As far as I'm concerned, Ofori-Atta's conduct already speaks of guilt. The decision to run away from this country under the guise of being sick speaks volumes of his guilt. As far as this matter is concerned, I'm clear in my mind that Ofori-Atta's conduct speaks volumes of his complicity in many of these investigations. But it does not also mean that the accountability light should only be brought to bear on political office holders. It must also be seen to be active when it comes to institutions under our laws entrusted with the responsibility of expanding the frontiers of accountability and actually upholding the principle of accountability. And that is why I am worried. And I am still convinced that that office is needless, it is obstructive in nature, and it is going to make it extremely difficult for Ghanaians to begin to demand political accountability from political office holders. Because if you are not careful, at any point in time, Ghanaians vote expecting change, expecting accountability. The office of special prosecutor, who in a way is immune from political accountability, that's why I'm using my words carefully, in a way, immune from political accountability, especially when it comes to the electorate, may at any point in time interfere to make it practically impossible for governments to live up to the true expectation of the Ghanaian people in terms of the demands of accountability. And that is why I am worried. And there's the need for those of us who are concerned, especially the likes of Senior Martin Kwebu. I will support any intention on his part to bring about political accountability. I believe sincerely that that office needed not to be created. It was simply done by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the NPP to score cheap political gains. And we all have come to realize that indeed it adds nothing to our quest for accountability when it comes to issues of corruption. What it does rather is that it has burdened the public purse. And there's a need for us to begin to think around it and ask the critical questions. After all, it's
so you want to scrap?
Years since the establishment.
You want to scrap?
Absolutely.
All right.
That is my position.
Dr. Zaato.
Roland, I've sat here with you and I've exposed my theory of regime and post-regime accountability. You remember that, right?
Very well.
Very well. Everybody in the world knows. And I've sat here on TV and said that I will not sit here and try to defend anybody that is accused legitimately of spionage. I've said that. It's public knowledge. So it's not today I'm going to say, in fact, this SML case, I've debated it here on key points all over the place. I have never on any occasion said that I defend wrongdoing and that people who have done sugar. I've never done that. It's on record. It's there. People have seen it. It's documented. In fact, I've had a discussion with what's his name, Manasseh here. A discussion here. In fact, after that, I don't know what I said. Manasseh actually contacted me. He wanted some publication documents I had and I shared that with him. I've never, and I will never defend. I've said that. So that's my record. People can easily Google it and say to me. But I'm making a point. Just imagine, sit back and think that there is a KPMG report that says that criminality has happened. 9 months or 10 months of investigation. Why is it that the Attorney General has not charged anybody based on the KPMG report? If KPMG says there is criminality, why are those suspects still working?
You mean OSP or Attorney General?
I'm not talking about Attorney General because you came and said, yes, I'm making a point. The report was done under Akufo-Addo, right? You came in, so you saw the report. Now, if the report said there was criminality with SML, why is it that the Attorney General or his deputy, that office?
But the OSP is taking already into the matter.
I'm making a point. If they have,
so that we don't have a parallel.
I'm making a point.
Because the OSP in itself.
Is it possible for
I think he needs to peg this.
No, please. No. Because the OSP also takes his.
I'm asking a question.
His powers from the AG. According to
can the AG call for that docket?
88.
Is it possible for the AG to say, "Give me the docket"?
But that's what they did.
Good. So my point is that if they can call for their docket, why haven't they called for it? And why are they not?
I don't think that it is a simple answer.
Because I've seen something. I've seen the Iyoku call for the Cecilia Dapa docket from OSP. Haven't they done that? I've seen that. They have done that. So my point is that if they have requested, good. So if you request, so my point is that, so we are now being told that there's criminality, that this account. 9 months, 8 months ago, why are they not being charged? So that's what I'm saying. Why are they not charged?
He said they were doing
Now I go to another point. Is it not true that somebody or GRA officially wrote to say that SML did the job and the payment was justified? Didn't they write to say that? So am I wrong to quote an official document? They did. The lawyers of GRA.
I guess the argument they're having is that you're quoting the document to inure to your benefit. And by those arguments you make, you seem to be supporting.
No. You see, there's a public document. Now we have two documents, even if you want to agree that we have two documents, in fact, three documents. There's an OSP document that says that you've committed a crime. Then you are saying that if there's a KPMG2 that says you've committed a crime, then there is a document from GRM that says that you've not committed a crime. Now, which of these documents should we believe? Don't they raise reasonable doubts? If you put together all these three documents, don't they raise reasonable doubts?
About what?
About the fact that you said that their payment was not justified. GRA says it's justified.
But I've just told you that.
But even in the SML, even in the
let him make his point.
KPMG
Let him make his point.
Roland, you see, we don't have to misinform the public. Roland, people are listening.
When it was your turn,
he interjected.
No, please.
No, when it was my turn, he came in.
No, please.
Roland, we should not allow him to misinform the public.
No, please. Let him make his point.
They were paid money for no job done.
No, please.
The letter exists.
Okay. So you are quoting.
I'm quoting a
cogently from them.
Letter. I'm quoting
public documentation.
A legitimate public document.
Okay.
So long as nobody, no human being, has come to deny the legitimacy and the existence of that letter, I'm still quoting it. And that is a letter from, he also said, there's a popular Ghanaian saying that when whatever comes out of the water to say that you should believe it. This is coming from...
You say what popular Ghanaian from where? Ghanaian quote from where?
You know what I mean? When the crocodile comes out and say the fish are, you should believe it. I don't believe it. There's a GRA has, and people must understand. So my point is that now if you have three documents, even four documents, and even if 2, 3 of them said that the people have engaged in criminality, and then one of them says that the people have engaged in criminality, then my question is that you can then sit back and say, wait a minute, wherein lies the truth? You can do that. But that doesn't negate the fact, and this is the point I want to make, that doesn't negate the fact that there's documents, official documents, saying that you've done the work. Another one say you've not done the work. There are official documents that say that payment was justified. Another one say payment not justified. Which one should we believe in? And those are very legitimate questions, because see, in the fight against corruption, there's something that we often forget, and we must do this. On the first hand, we are saying that, where was the internal audit unit of the GRA when all this was happening? Where were they? Why is it that nobody in the OSP look at the internal audit unit?
The institutional complicity.
That is what
has raised.
Yes. So, has anybody asked the internal audit? Has anybody looked at them?
So you agree with
Secondly,
that?
So he agrees with
when
that.
this happened, and the OSP wrote the letter. So if the argument we are supposed to get is that the whole of the GRA, that whole institution, from top to down, was complicit in covering up this crime, then as a country we have a serious problem. If that is the case, if that is true, so how come that the whole office is not shut down by now? I'm serious. I'm very serious with it, because if you are insinuating institutional,
then it means that the NPP has to be banned.
Are you just postulating?
Then it means that the NPP has to be shut down as well.
There are two.
Indirectly, that's what he said. The NPP has to be shut down as well.
Arguing that whole office is complicit.
Then it means the NPP has to be shut down.
Please, end for me. No, it's okay.
The head of the GRA,
no,
yes,
who was supposed to go on retirement.
If he's saying the GRA has to be shut down, Roland, NPP has to be shut down too as well.
Allow him to make his point.
Authorizing him to still stay at post as GRA commissioner for more than 2 years. A man who was supposed to be
on retirement.
What would you expect from such leadership?
Yes.
Please, I have an interview with the roast minister, so I'll end this quickly so that we can have some time for him.
So,
quick one. So that is it. Into let me say TV3, you have to be very, 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 very mindful. They have to be very mindful when it comes to say yes, when it comes to say now host guest and answer programs no more, also tighten those the host especially Alfredo Kensi, key points DBR or no, and Hustino. He has to tighten his, strategies. Strategies are already ebisa questions. Any how I will see a man for interrupt. No. The same thing happens to Roland Walker, or also the morning show. What you say? Because ayana obi intentions chese or no bahono abe kwasi keke no abeji trend. That was exactly what Dr. Donfe Eyeye, because I don't see any sense sebi in what Dr. Donfe, so-called Dr. Eyeye, minim die Professor Dembo Kanye, although it was behind the scene, but I don't know what will happen now. Ebema, a whole doctor, said the Kevin Taylor kind, the whole doctor. Ebenya bufo to the extent say, Obi being an wakase professor, our man as we didn't. You see, it was something which we must take it very serious. And it's about the time those are hosting, so the media can kind of first them. I was some very mindful on those issues. Contessa, Dakro, don't say and found confirm man on mat for Munsa po na omu akweding akufasem kesi ediaba. Inti I think say you people must be very, very mindful of whatever show you do, the host and the co-hosts, the pundits, the guests, the kind of guest you are receiving or you are calling on your show. Because your uncle no guest in Nana, you host your kubu no man oba in Nana adwene so be trend. You always does what will help him to trend. Inti the obeya obe trending kofa de no de nkofo beka say hey me hu asumesi wo ha na oni bi banta me hu obentini you see Professor Jambo ni don fedie no say trendy pa a trendy papa na social media. That was the every conversational, that was every conversational na obia edi ho nkomo asema na obia ka obia eden eka ho asem nti ade a trendy papa ade a trendy mega me hu ni say ni kwan say omo mani sibio because ebasa na mu sem reputation, especially the media house na mu say reputation no, because we know TV3 has been operating for so long. Yes, TV3 has been operating for so long and they have been maintaining their dignity and I say more animunyam for so long, and we know say they are not part of the stations are always they're doing jandam, unlike Joy FM, Joy News, Shiradum TV, you see many more. But you could see say media general there due diligent omoye adwuma ehun eti nti no we are just appealing to you say mumasa kind of argument na we bu ofunu we ya say no en happen ebasa you will lose your viewership and people will turn back on you and it will be like you are not serious as what as a Momukan is saying a radio station or TV station or media house. We making sure say next time side in NCBO. If we think say host to be beba, sorry, if we think say guest to be beba, for example, Dr. Donfe beba now obey Corsair, then you shouldn't call him, let him be there. Then the message, whatever message he wants to pass, he should sit on his own platform, either on social media or wherever. Now I pass it that comment, than say other than say beba now betina my channel and I say media so now at the end of the day no I call it disgrace for the channel or for the what for the entire media house. Ebasa now I think say a idea in yi nti mu hye so na bibia ntimi enko so emfama yi na busia me mfa wonsi wati ase meso so nso be che wadwe o comment section nim na wa like dwumadi na wa share na foforo etimi enye bia hwe. makro bibia nyankopɔn nhyira. Bye bye. Yɛbɛsen ahyia bio.